I thought that their starting formation, with the three up front but one dropping into midfield, whether it be Silva or Tevez, suited them. I thought that was their best spell of the game when they started the game. They looked very impressive, very powerful. They finished up with so many changes and ended up playing a 4-4-2, which they know they can play. They've got wingers as well. But I think that suited their players. I thought Adebayor hasn't been mentioned much tonight. I thought he led the line very well all the time he was on. Tevez is energetic as ever. And Yaya Toure, very, very impressive debut.
And if you're going to win the title, Joe, or you're going to certainly qualify for the Champions League, you've got to be able to adapt to different formations, haven't you?
Yeah, they have. I mean, because they have wingers as well. If they need to come on, if they recognise a weakness in the opposition, if they think a fullback is a poor defender, they have Johnson or Wright Phillips who will give people problems. They have so many options. The versatility in that squad of players we saw today. Toure, Yaya Toure can play as a holding midfielder or a little bit more as forward as he did tonight, and his brother can play full back or centre back. Leska can play left back or centre back. All over, there's versatility and strength in the team.
First half, a header from Gareth Barry, not always seen so far up the pitch.
No, and you see here Boateng surges forward. The change had just been made. He'd just gone to right back for a spell, and that's a brilliant cross. The keeper's in no man's land. Barry has got in the box, which he can do. He knows there's a holding player, maybe two behind him, and he's in the right position to score a goal. Good header, great cross, good header, good movement as well.
And as you said, Boateng there coming down the right, playing full back and attacking from deep. Again, it's about that versatility.
He can play centre back, he can play left back as well. If you read his article in the programme about himself, he acknowledges that he's very quick. This one again, a good build-up. Joe's on. He's not offside. Now whether or not Joe's offside,
there?
well, maybe. But it's a friendly game. I think he's offside.
You think he's offside? Well, he's had a good pre-season though, Joe, which is interesting. That's his fourth goal of pre-season.
What I found most interesting, Rebecca, was that he's preferred to play in this game before Roque Santa Cruz as the sort of lone or the main striker, and even Craig Bellamy who sat on the bench. So he might just be back in the sway of things as one of the squad. You never know.
Well, you mentioned Craig Bellamy. We did have a look at him on the bench this evening. Not looking the happiest of players, Joe, there. As you also mentioned, Roque Santa Cruz didn't make it onto the pitch tonight. Craig Bellamy. Now, I think you said before the game, Joe, you don't really want a Craig Bellamy around the team if he's not going to play.
Rebecca, I'm a big fan of Craig Bellamy. He's feisty. He loves playing. Significantly, the goals he scored last year were all scored when he started the game. I don't think he's good at coming on as a sub, and he's certainly not good when he's being taken off. He's got great self-belief, and I think a lot of him as a player. But if he's not going to be in your starting lineup, I don't think he's the kind of player that you want around. And I will be amazed if he's still here when the season starts.
We will see. There are rumours of Fulham. Now,
Yeah, there were, and there was a lot of good performances. As I say, it's a little bit more significant who didn't play tonight in many ways than who did play. Those who did play, he was excellent. In fact, all the debutants did very, very well.
Adam Johnson has today been called up to the England squad, which we'll talk more about, Joe, a little bit later on. How did you feel he did? Because he came on, I think, after about 35 minutes of the first half and impressed.
There are very few players that have come out of the Championship in the last few years and gone on to prove themselves at this level, and he's one. Did very well when he joined last year. Might not necessarily be easily suited to the starting formation that they played, but he can play a form of it. He plays the wide man, the wide striker, the man who gives you width and wizardry, because he goes past people. We haven't got enough people in England who go past people, and that's why I'm not surprised either that he's in the England squad.
And he's a left-footed player, but Mancini often plays him on the right. Again, the versatility.
Yes, he can do that. He can play wide left as well. Unfortunately for Sean Wright Phillips, because Mancini prefers him on the right, Sean usually ends up on the left, and that doesn't suit him at all, as we've seen with England as well. Sean finished up playing up front as a striker alongside Joe and even Adebayor for his short spell, and did very, very well there. He too is versatile.
Will all of your players be ready? The likes of Carlos Tevez, David Silva only played half an hour today. Are they all 100%?
No, this is impossible. It's impossible that David Silva, Jerome Boateng, Kolarov, all the players that played in World Cup will be ready for next Saturday. I think that they have more time.
What did you learn about your players today? Are you close to being able to get down to that 25?
I know, I'm 25 players. I have just in my mind.
Does that mean that you may stick with what you have, or do you still think James Milner, Balotelli will come in here? Are you close?
Probably. Could be.
How close? How soon would they arrive? Before next Saturday?
No, now it's not important because all these players go in national team. It's important that we'll be here for next Thursday.
In terms of the Premier League this season, do you feel under pressure? You've spent obviously a lot of money. Does that mean the need for you to win or perform is higher?
No, no, absolutely.
What did you make of the new signings today? All four of the big name acquisitions were involved. Did they impress?
I know all these players because if not, I didn't buy. I know, but I think that they need more time because to train because they work only for 5 days.
Rizzo, thank you for your time. Well done today.
Thank you very much.
Well, we've been joined now by Craig Burley down from the commentary box. Craig, your overall assessment from what you've seen tonight?
I think very exciting times ahead for Manchester City fans, even more exciting than last season. Joe and I were talking before the game. We watched Valencia come in actually, and they were very small. And then we looked at the City players, and they're a big physical side. I said that in the commentary. OK, you've got David Silva, and you've got Tevez, and you've got Adam Johnson, and players like that, Sean Wright Phillips. But there's a lot of big, powerful, physical guys that I think will be suited to the English Premier League. OK, in terms of more signings to come for City, more exciting times possibly ahead, James Milner and Mario Balotelli are still probables to add to the four big signings they've made already so far. Where do you see, Joe, Milner and Balotelli fitting in if they do?
I couldn't honestly tell you, because the way that they play, the positions that they play, at the moment you would say that Manchester City are very well covered in both positions. But as he says, he knows the players. Mancini, he wants them. It looks, listening to Martin O'Neill and listening to Mancini, it looks like the Milner deal will happen. Balotelli, I'm not quite so sure about, but they've got an awesome squad at the moment. I mean, we did speak about the size, but also the pace in the team all over. You've got people, you haven't seen the quickest player in the club tonight, Onua. Micah Richards is lightning, and looking at the right back, they're just awesome pace all over. They're going to be a power this season.
Well, you mentioned Nedum Onuoha, and there's a lot of players here at City that, quite frankly, Craig, Mancini's going to have to get rid of, because he's got rid of a couple so far. Not too many in terms of first-team players. Javier Garrido, Valery Bozhinov, Martin Petrov. But who else do you think is going to be shown the door? Well,
I don't think he'll be too disappointed in getting rid of most of those players. But I mean, guys like Petrov have been very talented. One of the big ones is obviously, Craig Bellamy didn't come on tonight. Now, there's been a bit of previous there. There's talk of him being going to Fulham, Tottenham, one or two other clubs. I'm a big fan of Bellamy as a player. What he does and what goes on behind the scenes, I don't know. But all I can look at from the commentary point of view is what he gives to Manchester City as a player. I never watched him last year. I thought he was excellent. So, players to come in, players to go. He's got the most difficult job in the Premier League at juggling. He'll be under the most pressure, and every time a result goes against him, he'll have to face the most questions. It's going to be an interesting year.
Craig, I said to Rebecca during the game, if I were him now, I would turn out as soon as I can and say, hey, these are the players that aren't going to be in the 25, and invite offers, because you don't want unhappy players sat in the stands. There's going to be at the moment an unhappy
enough of those
team.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, more coming.